Hello everyone. So we're going to start with an artwork, which is an NFT, obviously. It's an NFT that we created with biohackers. So what we do is creating these NFTs, and we bridge science and art. So this NFT has been created by an artist in collaboration with a laboratory of scientists who is actually working on gene therapy. So they are doing this really weird, really dangerous manipulation of DNA. So the way we are creating and curating NFTs with artists is actually to open the field where like science and art can meet in order to support clinical research, early stage research, and fund early stage science. There is another example I would like to share with you. So that one, as you can see, is a DNA. It's a very special DNA, actually. It's called the supercoiled DNA. It's a DNA that actually allows you to transform your genes. And when you think of that, it can be like very dangerous, actually, to tweak your genes. But like scientists are already working on it, and it's already happening. So what is at stake? What is at stake here is to be able to communicate on those research in order to be able maybe to guide them more, to see maybe the dystopia that is at stake with those research, but also the benefits that are at stake with those kind of gene therapy research, for instance. So with this NFT, we are actually splitting the proceeds of the NFT. So 50% is going to the artists who collaborate with the scientists, and the other 50% is actually funding the early stage research in gene therapy. So yeah, those NFTs are actually like purpose-driven NFTs to enable scientific research. And what is also interesting is that we can do underground research and underground research creation, and we can actually collaborate with scientists who are like researching some kind of very unfamiliar science. This is another example of an NFT. It's going to be the last example I'm going to show you of these NFTs that we are creating. So this NFT is actually creating with a scientist working on the way we can imagine to revive our dogs, our pets, and so to speak, revive humanity. So it's an NFT that is talking about longevity, about cryogenization, and all that type of research. So as you can see, the artists work with the scientists to understand more how actually is it possible to revive a dog, and it's going to be like our nearest future. This NFT has been dropped, and 50% of the proceeds is going to the artists, 50% is going to the research in cryopets, actually. As you can see, we are also playing very artistically, and this is super important. We are playing with the code of art. We are playing with the code of like old Egyptian art, because like you can see this dog, maybe you can recognize the treatment of the mummified dog that Egyptians used to do. So we are like flirting with science, longevity, but at the same time, we are also talking to the society about their dream of eternity. So what is at stake is like we are enabling an audience outside of the scientific field to get a quick idea of what can be at stake with our early stage research in science today, in order to see how we could benefit from those early stage research, and how actually society can fund by like buying, for instance, that kind of NFT, can fund their future, can fund their science, and can actually have like their word to say in our way to monitor what should be a scientific research and what is urgent and what is not. So we are Existential Hope. We are fueled by an institute in San Francisco called Foresight Institute, and we work with their accelerators of 40 different scientists working mainly in bio and nanotechnologies. So Existential Hope is a Web3 art gallery that is like completely purpose-driven. We are bridging art and science to fund scientific research, which is like super important today to find also new ways to use this. It's not an art. NFT is just like same than a piece of paper, actually, is a medium, okay? So we need to find a new way to use this medium, actually, to create more impact in our society. And one of the impact we could imagine, and one of the impact we are developing, is actually funding early stage research. And then what is important also with those NFT, and we saw it with, for instance, like the reference to the Egyptian way of creating art around eternity, is to create actually a bridge where people that are outside of the science can understand what those guys are doing and how those guys are tripping between themselves. Why is it important? It's important because, like, today, we all witnessed what happened with the COVID. Like, we weren't able actually to see in a very transparent way what is at stake, who is having the monopoly of the COVID, who is having the monopoly of the vaccine. So today we have an urge of like changing our governance and changing our way of actually monitoring and being able to have our word in this like scientific research. So we are creating DeSci NFT. So DeSci NFT, I guess everyone is now aware thanks to VitaDAO and Molecule. So DeSci stands for Decentralized Science. And why DeSci NFTs? So it's a new way of curating. So with a new medium comes a new way of curating. So if we take like street art, for example, they created a new way, a new medium. Everything was like in the street and people were like able to curate in different ways. So with NFT today, we cannot just like curate as we used to curate in a white cube. This is like a start, it's a good start, but now with the NFT, we can actually shape a blockchain system to actually shape our society. So this is why the NFT needs, and this is my opinion, needs to become something else. So today what we create is the NFT as a DeSci NFT. It's a new way to fund science. It's also a way to avoid scientific monopolies, to give more power for the society to decide what should we fund as research in science. And it's a way also to allow art to have more impact. And impact art, purpose-driven galleries, I think, are the future of NFT, or one of the future of NFTs. So we imagine a world, and we are believing in a world where society can co-own scientific IPs, thanks to those NFTs, where a society where we can co-own our treatments, okay? A society where we can co-own our cure. What you need to know is that today, an industry, a pharma industry, has no interest, absolutely any interest, to create a cure, to cure a disease. And this is crazy. So we need to acknowledge this, and we need to find new way to absolutely like be against that kind of monopolies, because we are sick and we are getting sicker and sicker. So these NFTs are used also to enable society to co-own and drive the research. So So we are also believing in a society where we can enable liberty for scientists. So we are talking from the beginning of the speech about like early stage research. It's super important. When you are like an early scientist, you have your own laboratory, you're gonna fundraise, and probably you're gonna have like some pharmaceutical monopolies or some other monopolies that are going to put money into your laboratory or your industry and say to you that you should focus on this or that. By having like a decentralized system of like funding the research, you can actually offer the liberty to the scientist to decide at the early stage to actually go wherever he wants to go as a researcher, which is really, really powerful also, and it can speed up actually our research. We are also believing in a society that enables more transparency and less greedy interests in science. And we are actually a gallery that can believe in a society where everyone is in charge of its own fate. So today we are at a very early stage. The first IPs, NFTs have been created. Galleries such as Existential Hopes are like live right now. And I think we need to join forces. We need to join forces to create this DeSci movement. We need to join forces to also address the audience outside of the crypto and the scientific audience, because what is at stake is that I want my family, I want my friends to be able to take part to this research, okay? So we need to find new way to address people outside of our small world with this. And we need to find also new formats to enable collaboration between scientists and creatives, whether it is a retreat where they are meeting together, or maybe like some hackathons, or maybe some festivals. We are really looking for expanding also new format to enable this new collaboration and unlock all those amazing futures that we are believing in. So yeah, thank you very much for your attention.